We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Hello everyone, today we have to see the topic that is bioavailability. First of all, what is bioavailability? Bioavailability is defined as a rate and extent of absorption of unchanged drug from its dosage form. Also we can call the bioavailability means the measurement of the rate and extent to which the active ingredients are absorbed from its dosage form and it reach to the systemic circulation, or we can call as a plasma. So rate means the time, based on the time how much amount of drug reach or absorb to the systemic circulation, and extent means the total amount of quantity or amount of drug. So the bioavailability is a main points, or we can call as a pharma point of view, it is a major points. It directly correlate with the pharmacological actions. So we can call as higher the bioavailability, better the pharmacological response. Bioavailability is affected by various factors. Okay, so we can say correlate with related to drug. If poor aqueous solubility or poor resolution rate, so that directly affect to the bioavailability of drug. Second, we can call the factor that is dosage form. If dosage form changes, it also affect the bioavailability. It means if solid dosage forms, we can compare with liquid. So liquid gave the highest bioavailability as compared to solid. So change in the dosage form, mean tablet and capsule also alter the bioavailability of the drug. Third one, that is route of administrations. So that route we can change for the drug administration, it also affect to the bioavailability. Suppose example, if IV administrations we can give the drug, so it directly reach to the systemic circulation and it shows the 100% bioavailability. As compared, we can go for the oral administration, so the bioavailability go for the changes. What is the reasons? So in the oral administrations, it go for the undergoes the first pass effect, or we can call as a first pass metabolism. So that also alter the bioavailability of the drug. The next one, that is objective of bioavailability. We can go for the bioavailability studies during the early stage of drug development or any new drug development. So it has to develop the better or quality based dosage forms. Second one, we can find out the effect of various factors, the effect of excipient on the drug absorptions by the bioavailability studies. Third one, that is development of any new dosage form, new formulations of existing drugs. Already the drugs available in different dosage form, we can change the dosage form. So the bioavailability studies also help into the new drug development, or it is also useful into the dosage regimen development or optimization. So dosage regimen means the how much dose and how much time, the frequency of the dosage form. The next one, that is types of bioavailability. There are 2 types of bioavailability, absolute and relative bioavailability. Here the first one, that is absolute bioavailability. What is that absolute bioavailability? When the systemic availability of drug administered orally and then we have to compare with the IV administration, so it is called as a absolute bioavailability. So in that case, our dose oral into UCIV, we can get into the percentage, that's why multiply with the 100. The second one, that is relative bioavailability. What is relative bioavailability? When the systemic availability of drugs, means oral administrations, we have to compare with other oral dosage form or oral drugs. Example, suppose oral tablet we have to select as a test, that we have to compare with oral solutions or oral suspension. So it is referred or called as a relative bioavailability. The The next one, we can go for the measurement or determination of bioavailability. We can perform single dose studies, otherwise multiple dose studies. Two methods are there. Single dose studies, we can go for it. After administration of single dose, we can find out the bioavailability or all the parameters. So what are the advantages are there? So first one, the single dose studies, it is very common to use for the bioavailability determinations. Why? So less exposure to the drug for the volunteers, or we can call for the subject. Less tedious method as compared to multiple dose. What are the disadvantages of that single dose studies? So it is difficult to produce steady state characteristic or steady state concentration with giving the single dose. Large or long number of samples we have to require or necessaries for to determine the bioavailability as compared to multiple dose studies. The next one, that is multiple dose studies. What are the advantages that we have to compare with the single dose? So more accurate as compared to single dose studies, easy to predict all the peak characteristics. It requires less number of blood samples as compared to single dose, ethically perform in the patients, and small inter-subject variability we can observe. We can reduce the inter-subject variability as compared to single dose studies. What are the disadvantages of that multiple dose studies? So it requires the more time, takes a longer time as compared to single dose, tedious method, poor compliance by the subject because large number of sample and more times we have to get, so that poor compliance we can get from that volunteers. Greater exposures of subject to the drug means larger dose we have to give, long time we have to give the dose, multiple dose. So great exposures we have to find out in that volunteers. Next one, that is the measurement of bioavailability. There are two methods we have to apply to find out the bioavailability of drug: pharmacokinetic method and second one, that is pharmacodynamic method. Pharmacokinetic method also we can call as an indirect method, that is classified further in two types: plasma level time studies and urinary excretion studies. It means we can take blood samples or urine sample and from that we have to find out the bioavailability. In plasma level studies, we have to go for the require the serial number of blood samples after the drug administrations, and we have to plot the graph plasma drug concentration versus time. Similar like in urinary drug excretions, when the plasma level studies we have to not perform, otherwise the patient compliance not getting, lack of sufficient analytical method to determine the drug concentration from the blood. As compared to urinary excretion studies, it is non-invasive, better compliance with patients, so we have to go for urinary excretion studies also. Second method, that is pharmacodynamic method, or we can call as a direct method. In that we have to directly go for the pharmacological response based effect profile. In that, the first one, that is acute pharmacological response, and second one, that is therapeutic response. In acute pharmacological response, we have to directly evaluate or measure the various parameters like change in the ECG, change in the pupil diameter, change in the blood pressures, and from that we have to find out the bioavailability. In therapeutic response, we have to measure the clinical response of that drug. So here the parameters are there. For pharmacokinetic parameters, which are the parameters we have to assess to find out the availability, bioavailability. So in that plasma drug concentration studies, we have to find out the Tmax, means the maximum drug concentrations we have to find out in the blood. The time required for that, that is called the Tmax, time per peak plasma concentration. Second one, that is Cmax, maximum amount of drug reached to the blood after this drug administration, so that is the Cmax. And third one, that is the area under the curve, the AUC. So AUC is the total amount of drug, total extent of drug reached to the systemic circulation, otherwise we can call total amount of drug absorbed. AUC we can find out by various methods. The trapezoidal methods are there, that is most widely used to determine the AUC. Other than cut and weight, planimeters, like the method we can use to find out the AUC. The next, similar like urinary excretion studies, we can get the data, and pharmacodynamic parameters are there. In that also maximum pharmacodynamic response, time for maximum pharmacodynamic response you can find out.